Hello and welcome to Back to School Night, our distance learning edition. My name is Todd Scudder. I am your child's sixth period academic lab teacher here at Olympus. You will find me here on campus most days. I will be teaching from my room. But as things come up, there is a chance that once in a while I'll be teaching remotely from home. And you may hear some occasional background noise. My wife and I have three kids right there, the youngest of whom is 8 weeks old. That's our little girl, Nellie. So I will be at school most of the time, but there will be days where I will be at home for sure. And that's just that's the kind of world we find ourselves living in right now. What to expect in academic lab. The goals and purposes of the class, we provide support for all the academic classes your child has, including one-to-one support when needed. We also work on executive functioning, including organizational skills and all the things that come with that, as organization is one of the bigger challenges for children with IEPs. And we will also do a lot of things that focus on personal growth and mindset, including using 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens, the textbook. It's not a textbook, it's just a regular book, but it has a workbook that goes along with it. And we will also focus on study skills, including things like note-taking, drawing inferences, just filling in a lot of gaps or needs that your child may have throughout the years as they arise. What I tell the students is academic lab is not just a homework hour. I don't want them to get in the habit of thinking it's just time to work on schoolwork. They will definitely have time to do that because that's when we can help them and be most effective. But we're also going to do many of the other things above that I just mentioned. In terms of meeting as a class, we have 2 options, Zoom and Google Meet. Right now, we are currently using Zoom. The biggest thing that I think Zoom's advantage is for the moment is breakout rooms. And that allows us to put your child and another child or just them by themselves in a breakout room where I can kind of bounce around to each and answer questions and help them. Although Google is currently working on breakout rooms that are supposed to be released in September or October-ish. They haven't said exactly the date. They give us a rough time period. When that happens, there is a good chance that we will transition over to Google Meet. I think it's a little more user-friendly for students and just easier to navigate. So those are the 2 things that we currently use, mostly Zoom for the moment. Here's kind of a look at Zoom breakout rooms. You can see I can assign each student to their own room, and then what I like to have them do is share their screen so I can it's my way of kind of looking over their shoulder to see exactly what they're working on, which would be the equivalent of me circulating the classroom and kind of checking in on everything they're doing. So that is one very cool feature that Zoom has that Google Classroom currently does not. So we are using that quite a bit. The tools that I use each day include IXL for language arts and math, ReadWorks for comprehension, the 7 Habits book that I mentioned earlier, and then the 2 adopted curriculum for our district right now, or for at least junior high, are Carnegie for math and Amplify for language arts. And I will also work on some daily grammar focus skills, which is really good for building grammar, syntax, conventions, all those things. We also provide Sunday service, which is reading instruction. That's not for every child. There is a process to identify the children that actually need that and qualify for that service. So those are many, but not quite all. I'm sure there's a couple maybe I'm forgetting that we use or things that I find during the year that I find to be useful and add to the support kind of toolbox as well. The cool thing that I do like about IXL is it's all standards aligned in California. So any skill that they're working on in their math class or language arts class, I can kind of calibrate that with an IXL activity for them to work on to kind of build up their skill level and fill in any gaps they may have missed during instruction, or kind of give them a stronger base and foundation to work with. So that's one really great feature of IXL. It also allows me to diagnose their current levels of where they are in different subjects, as well as like subsections of subjects. So very, very useful tool that we use and we will use quite a bit. This is my Google Classroom. One thing that I've told your child, but just to remind you of, if you're ever at home and they need support, clicking on that little arrow that's showing up right now, it's usually showing down, and you just drop down menu, you click it, and they will always be able to find the Zoom link right in there if they're ever having trouble getting to the class meeting. Google Classroom is going to be the hub for most of your kids in terms of finding their work, accessing links, everything pretty much. In fact, I think all teachers are using it, and it's what we use and live by right now, and even before distance learning. A couple things about it that I've gone over with your child. Make sure their current classes are checked. Once they are in a Google Classroom, they have the option of checking the class over here, and they should check the classes that they are currently enrolled in, and that will definitely make them show up on their calendar so they can always see what's coming up and what they have to do that day. I would also encourage you to go through and maybe delete their older classes. I even found some classes with students that were from 3 years ago, or 2017 to 2018 and stuff like that. It's okay to delete those and kind of simplify the menu and the things they're looking at. Mine going to have a lot more than theirs, and that's okay. But for them, it just kind of makes it real simple. Also encourage them, and I've encouraged them as well, to play around with the view they like. The schedule view just kind of shows them day to day and real easily what's up next. It kind of works. It works in a chronological order. So that kind of shows them. And then when you click on those little individual events, the Zoom links pop up if there's a Zoom link that goes with them. They can also use the week view, which I think a lot of students like as well. And it shows you day by day what you have coming up and what's next, all those things. So that's something you can kind of play around with. One more kind of housekeeping item is all IEPs right now are going to be held online. We have weekly meetings as special education teachers to figure out what's going on new right now from the county and the state regarding changes in special education. And that seems to be changing almost on a weekly basis. So we're kind of in a fluid situation, as I'm sure you know, as most of our lives are right now. And so for the time being, all IEPs will be held online. And, in the spring when we still had to do IEPs online, they actually went pretty smoothly, at least in my experience. So I'll do my best to make that smooth for you as well. Because your child is in an academic lab does not necessarily mean I'm their case manager. Some of them I am, but some of the others, it is Mrs. Willis, Gina Willis. Her and I are separated by like one classroom. We see each other many times a day, talk and check in. So although I may not be your child's case manager in this class, I am talking with their case manager daily, and we are in very close contact and work closely together. So that's just a little bit about that. A little bit of other helpful info. Subscribe to the Google Calendars. As parents, you can subscribe to them and just add the little blue cross in the bottom right-hand corner, and that allows you as a parent to add it so you can see what's due of your child, what assignments are due and when, if you want to kind of keep up with that. Allow room for that productive struggle. We know this year is going to be challenging. We're all learning new skills along with the content we're supposed to be learning anyway in school. So while it is challenging, we definitely, a lot of the research shows that you want to be in that zone where it's challenging, but you can just get it done and you're growing and all that. So very similar to kind of exercising and all those other areas of life. So just a little bit about that. And then grades, I would encourage you to sign up for emails from PowerSchool and check, see what their grades are coming in. You're not going to see a lot of grades from my class. My class is not about a grade as much as it is about kind of building up their other skills, but that will help you for their other classes. And I would encourage you to check it often, but not like 4 or 5 times a day because it doesn't get updated 4 or 5 times a day. You can reach me best by email. You can call as well, but due to our limited office hours and teaching schedules, it's very hard to connect on phone during the school day. Email is best because I can usually respond to you much, much quicker. I can also be reached through Google Hangouts by the students. They can request a Google Hangout with me when I'm online, and that's found on their Gmail page and their calendar page. And if you wouldn't mind, please take a few minutes to complete the survey. it might not load for you if you click on it right now. So you may need to pause this and highlight it and paste it into another URL box. And it just allows me to learn a little bit more about you and your child and how I can best support them, a little more individualized. That is the presentation for tonight. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this. My name is Todd Scudder. Was and still is Todd Scudder. And I really look forward to working with your children this year and making it a very positive experience for them. Thank you so much. I will talk to you soon.